Hey guys, what's going on? We're going to jump into today's topic, and that is going to be looksmaxxing and why it isn't as important as you think it is. All right. So, one of these comments that you guys left the other day really took me by surprise because I think people are finally waking up to this. I think there's a lot of crap out there right now on dating websites or YouTube channels or blogs or whatever. And I don't know where it came from, but all of a sudden, a ton of guys are starting to say that the only thing that matters is looks. Now, I don't know where this came from. I think it came from guys who are either insecure or guys who maybe know they're above average in looks and just rely on that. And it gives them an ego boost to say that looks are everything, right? So I got some arguments against that, and I think you guys are going to enjoy this. So let's jump right into it. So CG Spartan 87 left this comment on my video, How Broke Guys Get Women. I briefly brought up looksmaxxing and why looks are important, but this idea of looksmaxxing is complete garbage. All right, so I'm just going to read his comment and we'll go back and go through it. So he's saying here, I agree about the looksmaxxing. Guys out here really thinking it's all about looks. It's not. Your game is the most important. No matter how good you look, if the words coming out of your mouth are lame, whack, and insecure, you're screwed, non-literally either. I like that at the very end there. So first part here, guys, is, the looksmaxxing itself. Guys out here really thinking that it's all about looks when it's not. That is a really good point, CG Spartan. So guys, when it comes to looks, it's some of the puzzle, okay? It's some of the puzzle, especially with girls that want guys who look good. Now, I just want to preface this by saying everybody wants somebody who's attractive, all right? It's just the rules of nature, right? Everybody's going to want someone that's attractive. Now, it's going to be different for everybody, okay? For instance, for myself as an example, right? I like women who are Latin, like Latin women, right? Doesn't matter if you're from Mexico, Brazil, Spain, basically anywhere, Mexico South or Spain, right? Like, that is just automatically attractive to me. If you fall into that category, you're probably going to get an automatic like +2, +3 points in my eyes, just because I find that attractive. Some guys do not like Latinas at all, right? Some guys love Asian women. Some guys love black girls. Some guys love white girls. Some guys love blonde girls. Some guys love girls with freckles. Guys, everybody's different. But everybody's going to have a different perspective when it comes to looks, okay? And this is extremely important for women as well. I don't know where this came from. Again, I think it came from guys who were insecure, and so they just started to invest everything into looks. I also think a lot of these dating gurus that are talking about this are just basically trying to get people to basically get stuck in their negative feedback loop. Basically, I tell you how crappy, how shitty you are as a person, how you need to get more handsome, and then I turn around and sell you a product, which I'm not going to name names, but there's one that comes to mind, pretty popular dating guru out there who does this, all right? Will say this, and then at the end of their videos or immediately after will be like, but I have this, this face cleanser and this thing that's going to help you glow up and look better, all right? It's all to prey on your insecurities. So guys, don't take looks too seriously. Now, what I can tell you is looks do matter. It just depends on the situation. Now, if you're going to go out looking like a bum, guys, don't expect to get a bunch of women. But some guys can go out and not put as much effort in and get women. Some guys have to put more effort in, all right? So I'm just going to be straight up with you. If you're tall, if you're over 6 foot, you probably don't have to put as much work in. But if you're 6 foot and you're ugly, you're super ugly, right? And you wear clothes that look like complete crap, and you don't have any sense of style, and your clothes are stained and holes and everything, probably not going to get you good results, right? I don't know how you could go out looking like that anyway, but you'd be surprised. If you're shorter, you're probably going to have to invest more into your looks, right? I know a lot of guys who are shorter who they do invest more into their clothing, their shoes, and things like that. It's probably a good thing, right? It does give you a little bit of a bump. It's a tough world out there, guys. If you're shorter, you're going to have to invest in yourself a little bit more. You can't change certain things, like you can't change being taller, all right? It's just how it is. You can get some shoes, I guess, that are a little bit thicker, but, it's better that you do invest into looks, but don't overdo it. Really, guys, looks only matter if you're in an environment where looks are the primary attraction factor, such as a bar, a club, Tinder, Bumble, dating apps, things like that, all right? If you're on a dating app, looks are going to be super important. In fact, looks are the most important thing on a dating app. You guys might have seen this online. If not, go ahead and just Google it, YouTube it, whatever. People have made videos about how they will find, basically they'll compile all this data from all these different dating apps, and it shows that guys who are in the top 10% of looks do get exponentially more likes, super likes, messages, matches, all these things, right? Exponentially, okay? So if you can take really attractive pictures of yourself, right? If you can take just straight up thirst trap pictures, especially if it's Tinder, right? Different dating apps have different guidelines. I know Bumble's a weird one. If you're a woman, you can post, you can have your ass and tits hanging out pretty much. But if you're a guy, shirtless pics aren't allowed. Really messed up. I don't like Bumble for that reason. Very backwards, very just double standards, guys. But if you're on Tinder, I've known guys who they will literally just post like thirst traps of themselves, and they'll get tons of matches, tons of likes. They get lots of girls, right? They're pretty attractive dudes, but what I see a lot of guys mess up on is they will just put average pictures online. They'll put these little nice gooey pictures up there about, maybe they're at a family function, or, it looks too nice, right? You gotta be a little edgy. You gotta be a little masculine. You gotta be a little, you gotta go out there, guys. I know it's weird. I know a lot of guys it's not natural for them, but guys, the guys who put shirtless pics who are in good shape, and the guys who are posting more thirst traps tend to get more girls in their DMs, more girls messaging them and all that, right? Now, if you want to go down that route, it's pretty simple, right? It's just something a lot of guys aren't willing or don't want to do or can't do because they're not in shape. They're not really focused on their looks. But guys, if it's a visual environment, looks do matter. But it's not all about looks, okay? Because most guys out there, especially watching this video, probably are getting turned off by dating apps. I don't really like dating apps. I think they're a waste of time. They get super addicting. You get matches, you go out, you get with girls, but it's just, everything's messed up, right? There's so much you got to do. There's so many games. There's so many things you have to do. To me, it's not worth it. All right, that's just me. I don't like it. I like meeting people face to face. I like talking to them, right? That's just me. But if you want to do the dating app way, looks do matter. But guys, everywhere else it really doesn't. In fact, I would say even in person at clubs and bars, looks are important. So make sure you have a haircut. Make sure that you're wearing nice, form-fitting clothes, especially if you're in shape. I see a lot of guys who are in shape who wear really big clothes, especially out in public. It's like, dude, if it makes you feel comfortable and confident, sure, but wear some clothes that just look like they're meant for you. It's not the suit that makes the man, it's the man that makes the suit. So you got to keep that in mind, all right? Now, when you're at a bar or club, a lot of times, guys, that's social. That's a social game. So, guys, I've talked about this before, but you can be under the average looks status and you can still pull women just because of your confidence. You can make women laugh because you can make them feel comfortable, because you can make them feel secure, because you have that masculine vibe that they feel protected around, right? It's something about you, right? And that comes from just being yourself. That comes from being a masculine man, going for what you want, right? Pretty straightforward stuff, okay? You've probably heard this stuff before, but I just wanted to expound on that. Now let's go into the next part. Your game is the most important. Personally, I would agree. I would agree the game is the most important, especially if we're not talking about dating apps. We're not talking about just straight visual, attraction. Game is the most important. But let's define what that is, all right? So game, really, guys, is just charm, charisma, confidence, all wrapped into one, all right? Game is, think of game like a muscle. You have to work on your game. Some guys are gonna be more naturally gifted with games. Some guys are gonna have to work a little bit harder for it. But for the most part, you are gonna have to put the reps in. You're gonna have to actually talk to women. You're gonna have to talk to people. You're gonna have to figure out what women like. You're gonna have to ask guys who are good with women, like, you're just gonna have to put yourself out there and put the reps in. Game isn't anything like mysterious. It's not like you finally get to a level where all of a sudden you unlock game. Everybody's got some level of game. I would say that pretty much every guy is gonna have something that some girl finds attractive, funny, right? Something about them. But game overall is when you can be yourself, when you're able to pretty much talk to any woman, you're able to gather her attention, you're able to gather her attraction, right? You're able to just win her over with your charm, with your charisma. And again, that goes back to my video that I made, How Broke Guys Get Women. You can just be a certain way, make her feel a certain way, and you might look like a 5 or a 6 to her, but all of a sudden you're making her feel better than like a 9 or a 10 ever did, because you're making her feel special. You're making her feel like you're listening to her, like like you don't care like what people think. You're funny, you're charming, you're brave, right? You're not conforming yourself to these social standards. You're pushing the envelope, right? And you're escalating. So that's huge. So let's get on to the final and the third point here. So no matter how good you look, if the words coming out of your mouth are lame, whack, and insecure, you're screwed. Non-literally either. So that's a good point as well. So just to wrap up this video, guys, no matter how good you look, if the words coming out, again, I'm just gonna say this, if the words coming out of your mouth are lame, whack, and insecure, you're screwed. And here's why. You can be the best looking guy. You can be a model. You can be a 10 out of 10. You can be the most fit guy. You can have no blemishes, no wrinkles, straight white teeth, a perfectly shaped nose, deep blue eyes, whatever, right? You can be like the chaddest of chads, right? If you can't talk to women, if you cannot communicate to women, it doesn't matter. I see so many guys who focus all their time and attention on looks. All they do is focus this, and I've fallen into this trap before, guys. You're not alone. But I've seen so many guys who have fallen into this trap. I see it in comments, I see it on videos. Everybody's obsessed with looks. You see these dating gurus out there that they have these live streams, they get guys to call in. Most of the videos are, how do I look better? And then you just have someone basically berating them, telling them that they're ugly, telling them that they need to do this and this and this. Some of it's true, but a lot of it, again, guys, it just goes into that negative feedback loop, right? It just goes into that making you feel insecure, making you feel less than, so you buy a product. It doesn't matter. There are guys out there who are 10 out of 10, right? They're just drop dead chads, right? If they cannot talk to women, if they can't communicate to women, it's over. So many guys focus so much of their time on the gym. They focus on their looks. They focus on their face. They focus on their hair. They put all this like excessive time and effort, like you're a woman, right? There's a level to it, right? You should put more effort into it than the average guy, but you shouldn't be putting as much effort into your looks as most of these women do, right? That's when you know you're really pushing the line. If you're spending hours on your appearance, guys, you're messing up. A lot of it's just gonna come naturally, right? If you change your lifestyle, a lot of it's just gonna come naturally. If you start to eat healthier, and that's a really, that's a wishy-washy thing, because a lot of people, they have different ideas what eating healthy is. Everybody's body's different. Everybody reacts differently to things. There's a lot of healthy food out there that people are allergic to or are intolerant to, right? So you gotta take that into consideration. But overall, if you're just not eating a bunch of processed foods, you're eating foods that have minimal ingredients, and you're working out. I would say, guys, I know some people say just work out 3 days a week. I think that's BS. I think you should work out a majority of the week. And what I mean by that is a bare minimum over a 7-day time frame, right? You need to be working out at least 4 days a week. That doesn't mean you gotta be in the gym for 2-3 hours a day, but you need to be in the gym. You need to be working out at least 4 days a week. I would recommend 5 to 6 days a week, all right? I've been working out a lot more recently. I've scaled back the intensity, just focus more on the frequency, focusing more on what I'm actually doing when I'm in the gym. It's so much more enjoyable. I find it a lot more enjoyable to go every day, or pretty much almost every single day, and just spend 45 minutes to an hour and 15 minutes tops, right? Really don't like going past that unless I'm training for something. But if you do that every day, you get that daily mental boost. You get, your blood gets flowing, you get the cognitive benefits, you have that just psychological feeling of I got something done. And I really do think for most people who are natural, you're not taking juice, no SARMs, anything crazy, right? Most people who are natural, they would benefit from that. So get in the gym, guys. Try to figure out a schedule where you're not in the gym, 2 hours a day, unless you're on this weird schedule where maybe it's better if you do like full body 3 days a week and you have to spend more time in the gym on the days you go. That's cool. But I'd say for most people, try to get in, just hit it hard and get out, right? Don't spend a lot of time in the gym unless you really enjoy socializing in the gym. But again, that's just my experience. I think it does something to you. I really do. I think it does help with your overall fitness and your looks. Eating mostly healthy, guys. Some people get really crazy into this. To each their own. You do what you want to do. I personally am very miserable when I'm just eating like 100% healthy. If I'm just eating chicken, rice, vegetables, some occasional fruits, and grains and stuff, it gets old. I hate it. Like I literally hate it. I have to eat some junk food. And by junk food, I mean, I'm gonna go to like a nice, maybe a farmer's market, get some cookies that have minimal ingredients, maybe make something. You can get kind of creative, right? You don't have to just eat Little Debbie snacks, but you can enjoy life a little bit, okay? It's not gonna kill you. In fact, stressing out over eating healthy all the time, in my opinion, is way worse than just eating. You gotta have a little vice, guys. And that might go against a lot of people's mindset, right? But that's just what I've come to. So guys, let's go back to the words here really quickly, because I do want to focus on the words versus the looks. If you're going to focus all your time on looks, again, you can do that. You're going to get results on dating apps. If you're posting thirst traps, if you're acting like, a tool, a Chad, whatever you want to call it, right? It works. And the reason is a lot of guys don't want to do it is because they're afraid of what their friends or family might think if they start posting these kind of pictures and things. But realistically, guys, it works. And it works on pretty much all types of women, right? You're going to gather the attention of a lot of women, even some good women too, right? Now, you could go down a rabbit hole and say, well, if they're good, they wouldn't be, texting you and stuff. But let's face it, guys, a lot of girls are just bored. And any guy who breaks the status quo, who breaks normality, is going to be attracted to him. All right. So you got to think outside of the box. You got to be a little different than everybody else, right? Stop focusing so much on your looks, because it also makes you insecure. When you're out and about at the store, wherever you go, school, the gym, whatever, if you're super focused on looks, there's another video I'm going to make for you guys coming up that's going to talk about this a little bit in more detail, because somebody had a pretty big comment on one of my videos. So we're going to talk about that. But you get self-conscious. The downside to looksmaxing all the time is you get very self-conscious. Like everywhere you go, you're looking in mirrors to make sure your hair is perfect, to make sure that, there's no dandruff or specks on your clothes at all. You're making sure that there's, you're perfect, that you look perfect. And guys, that will destroy you. That destroys your soul. Nobody can be perfect. Again, you're getting into that more feminine mindset. Okay, stop. You have to be confident no matter what. All right. I know there's been probably a couple times in my life where I was talking to a girl, where I was flirting with a girl, and I probably had a booger in my nose somewhere. Now, should you check your nose if you're out on a date? Should you check your nose before you go on a date? Absolutely. But guys, things happen. We're human, right? We all have noses. We all have boogers, right? So sometimes things happen. You can't be thinking all the time, oh my gosh, I think I might have a booger in my nose. I think I might have something in my teeth. Like, guys, most of the time, the fact that you're confident through those embarrassing situations, I said this in one of my other videos, it says so much about you. And a lot of women, that's a turn on. They're like, wow, this guy is super confident. He's like, he's got this going on, right? Like insert whatever, right? Maybe you had a stain on you from dinner or something, right? But you're confident, like you're not worried about that. What happens is guys start getting in their head and going, I'm not perfect, she's not gonna like me. When in reality, guys, most of the time you're perfectly fine by yourself. That's why you see a lot of women go for guys who are basically almost cavemen, because they're in tune with their masculine side and they don't give a crap what anybody thinks. they're a man. They're a man's man, right? They're in tune with their masculine side, and they pull all these feminine women. They pull these women who got money. They pull these women who are hot because they got something. They're confident in a way that most guys aren't, because most guys are going around going, oh my gosh, I gotta fix my hair. I gotta make sure all my blemishes are covered up. I gotta make sure there's nothing in my teeth. I gotta make sure everything's perfect, right? It doesn't matter, right? And I'll actually end this video with something, guys, just to make it a little bit more personal, all right? Just to let you know that this guy right here, you know, far from perfect, all right? I know it's hard to believe. Nah, but guys, seriously, there was a girl in my life. We had dated for a while and broke up. And then a few months later, she called me up and was like, hey, you want to hang out? You know, so we hung out, and there was, I guess she had a diary or something. And she was like, hey, do you want to listen to me read my diary? And I'm like, not really. But she was like, okay. So she just started to read like a page, I guess after we broke up, that she wrote down. And it was basically about how, something about how she loved my smile. She's like, his teeth are so messed up, like they're so crooked, like they're so messed up. But I just love his smile. His smile makes me feel a certain way. And I was like, what the heck? Like, that is crazy. But here she is, like, you know, we're hanging out, and she's, you know, reading this page, this part that she wrote down from her diary. And I'm like, you know, looking back, it was, you could call it like a shit test or whatever. You could call it sort of a, you know, backhanded to see how I react. If anything, I just thought it was funny, because I'm like, you know, it's so funny how women, they'll think one thing, they'll say one thing, but they act a different way, right? They act completely different. And trust me, that wasn't a big deal for her. I would have never known until she brought it up. I was like, what? Like, trust me, the teeth thing that she was talking about, it didn't sway her one way or the other, guys. So stop thinking so much about your look. Stop trying to be perfect. Nobody's perfect. Most people out there, guys, most people, especially the people like you, are going to accept you with your imperfections. I know that goes against a lot of advice for men, all right? But I do want to close the video off saying this, that if you try to focus on being a perfect man, you'll never get there, and you'll never succeed, and you'll never be happy. But if you focus on being a better man, then you will be happy, right? Just a little bit better every single day, just moving forward one step at a time towards your purpose, towards your goals. That's going to make you happy. People are going to want to be a part of that, because nobody can be perfect. And the people who like you are going to accept everything, all the flaws, all the good things, all the bad things, right? In fact, there's been times where it's like, there's certain things about a girl, or like she might have a freckle, or she might have a mole or something, right? And it's like, wow, like, I think that that's cute, right? I think that that makes her unique. So don't think so much into it, guys. People are people. We're going to be attracted to who we're attracted to. You're not going to attract every girl out there. That's a lie. You can't get to this, you know, 10 status and all of a sudden every single girl is going to want you. Focus on what you say. Focus on how you say it. Focus on socializing. Focus on your life. Focus on what you want to do. Live that out. And guys, as a man, it'll just be a magnet to the girls that actually appreciate you and actually like you for who you are. So that's all there is to it, guys. Again, let me know your experiences below. Let me know if you disagree. Let me know if you think this is complete BS. But if you got any experiences, questions, or whatever, let me know below. I also have a couple of comments in some of the videos have comments that have, in the description section, there's going to be my email. So if you guys just want to send me an email, I can do it that way as well. But guys, appreciate you watching, and I'll see you at the next one.